Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. What is all about classic bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger writes in his book, The New Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, that progressive overload resistance training works because the body is designed to adapt and grow stronger in response to greater amounts of stress that is used to. What does it mean? Then Arnold using the following example. For instance, if you are used to run 2 miles daily, increasing that to 5 miles places a greater demand of on your muscles and challenges your cardiovascular system ability to deliver sufficient oxygen and nutrients to keep your muscle functioning under the heightened stress. You might be fit enough to run 2 miles daily, but to tackle 5 miles, you need to enhance your fitness levels. Improving your endurance in this scenario involves gradually increasing your running distance and allowing your body the necessary time to adjust and adapt to a new challenge. The same concept applies to muscle building, and it can be done in any age. Even if you start at 50 or 60, you can gain muscle. It will be more challenging than younger. However, your body remains responsive, and improvements in muscle tone, balance, bone density, and daily function can be seen in weeks to months with appropriate exercise and nutrition. Muscles are conditioned to handle specific level of demand, particularly a certain weight during your workouts at defined intensity. When you raise the weight and or intensity, your muscles must grow larger and stronger to cope with increased load. After they adapt to this new demand, you should further increase the weight or intensity in your training sessions to ensure they continue to grow and strengthen. Essentially, you should progressively raise the challenges you present to your muscles over the time. Anyway, today I was training delts, and the way to increase width of your shoulders is to develop a lateral head on the shoulder. 3 exercises for delts, this is all you need to do. I started today's session with light weight warm-up for shoulders. So lateral raises with dumbbells was my first exercise for today's training. I did 2 warm-up sets. Remember that with warm-up we are stimulating release of synovial fluid in the shoulder joints. Just for a reference, synovial fluid is a thick, lubricating liquid found in movable joints like the knees, shoulders, hips, that reduces friction between bones and cartilage, nourishes the joint tissues, and allows smooth movement. Shoulders are relatively a small muscle group. They require more volume and not too much weight to grow. I'm trying to stay still and not swing my body to use momentum, so I'm imagining lifting the weight with elbows rather than my hands, and also trying not to shrug shoulders, because if you do, then you start exercise upper traps instead of middle delts. And also don't raise the weight above shoulder height, as this brings in the other muscles. Rather stop when your arms are at the shoulder height to keep tension on the lateral deltoid. Some lifters are moving arms straight out to the side or too far forward. Try to raise in the scapular plane. That means slightly in front of the body with a slight forward lean. Okay, next exercise for the shoulders was rear delts cable flies, and it's proven that the weak rear delts cause rounded shoulders, poor posture, and pain across the upper back and shoulders, as other muscles have to overcompensate. As you noticed, I lifted pulleys high so I could drive cables in different angles to shock the muscle. I did the first set with both hands on the cable. However, I prefer to do this exercise unilaterally, meaning with one hand at a time. But it's really of your preference. The main goal is to create micro tears in the muscle so the body can repair those tears with even more protein and thus increasing the muscle volume when we rest. Some common mistake. So bending elbows excessively turns the exercise into a row. Better maintain a slight, consistent bend in the elbows throughout the movement. I used to have an impingement in my shoulder, but since I started to exercise real delts, the pain is gone. So it means that it was maybe some muscle imbalance, and sorted now. Thank goodness. So real delts are a relatively small muscle group, so it requires lower weights but more volume. Well, at least for me. Okay, we moved on the next one, Unilateral Rear Delts Fly. It's something similar to the previous exercise, however, when doing the cable rear flies, but with just one hand, I can focus more on my back delts. I don't know, it's just my preference. Cables keep tension on the real delts throughout the entire range of motion, unlike dumbbells where tension can drop. I moved pulley, as you notice, to lower position than in previous exercise. I'm trying slow down the execution and not use body momentum if I can. Pulling the cable too far back will activate traps and rhomboids, taking the focus from the real delts, and also raising elbows above shoulder level or locking them puts strain on the joint. Keep them slightly bent and lower than shoulders. Another thing I noticed some lifters do is to, on a concentric movement at the top, they straighten the arm. Doing so is actually doing the tricep extension. So it's an interesting combo, sort of supersetting real delts with triceps. I don't know. I wouldn't do that though. Anyway, you can play with an angle you like your arm to be bent and focusing on real delts with my mind. Research confirms the mind-muscle connection is real, enhancing muscle activation and growth, especially in smaller muscles, and delts are smaller muscles. Thank you for watching, and if you don't mind, hit the subscribe and like buttons to help my channel. If you have any questions, write in the box below or message me on Facebook or Instagram. And as always, have a great workout, my brothers. Peace.